If you've just purchased a Parlux Master Controller, or are thinking about getting one soon, you'll no doubt be looking forward to fast installation and configuration of the device. This video will show you how to use it to fully automate your grow lights. Our example setup features the 630W Exolux Pro Sirius LED, a fantastic and compatible fixture. The Parlux Master Controller gives you a much greater degree of precision over your lighting, dimming in 2W increments, anywhere between 10 to 115% for LED dimming and 50 to 110% for HID dimming. Although this can be done manually, for more impressive and effective control, we recommend entering target grow room temperatures into the device and instructing it to monitor and maintain them by automatically altering the output of your lighting when necessary. As a result, you'll possess equipment that intuitively responds to your ever-changing indoor growing conditions without anyone having to intervene. On top of that, it also negates the need for a separate timer and contactor. Piqued your interest? Before we dive any further, if you're also seeking guidance on connecting up an Exolux Pro Sirius LED and Parlux Master Controller, we've got a video for that too. Click the link in the description below to find it. Now let's take a closer look at the controls. On the main menu, head to HID dimming if you're running HPS or CDM lights using the compatible Lynx temperature control ballasts, or choose LED dimming if you're running LED lights like the Sirius that can be connected to the Parlux Master Controller, which is a 0 to 10 volt controller. The options are laid out for both the HID and LED modes in a very similar manner, so once you've got comfortable adjusting one, you'll know what to do with the other one if required. In either the HID or LED menu, you'll see there are two groups, A and B. If you want to manage a single light or single group of lights, you need to have connected the single light or first light in a group of lights to the controller using a network cable, choosing port A or B, then select the settings for the relevant group, A or B. For two groups of lights, the first light in each group should connect to the controller via a separate network cable, with one being placed into the Group A port and the other being placed into the Group B port. You can then edit the individual settings for the two groups in the Group A and Group B sections on the controller. If you're using the HID dimming option, the controller needs to know the power output of the lights it will be managing. Touch the Setup button and then indicate the correct wattage of the light or lights by pressing the relevant button. This is not part of the process for LED dimming. Next, set the desired output of your lighting as a percentage, which obviously depends on the stage plants are at in their life cycle. Since most growers aim to bring new gear into play around the beginning of a crop, the power should initially be dialed down to protect rooted cuttings and seedlings from overly intense conditions. You can then gradually increase the wattage as plants become bigger and stronger, closely monitoring how they respond to it and adapting along the way. To gauge what wattage to operate the Sirius LED at during different stages of the plant life cycle, we highly recommend watching our hanging height video, which also has a link in the description. On the HID dimming and LED dimming screens, you're able to review the output selected for your lighting. To edit it for HID dimming, press the current figure in the Adjust box, and to edit it for LED dimming, press the current figure in the Setup box. Then type in the desired output as a percentage on the number panel that appears to the side. This will be the maximum wattage. Whilst you can select to overdrive both types of lighting, all the way up to 110% or 115%, please do bear in mind that some LED fixtures, including the Sirius, have built-in safeguards stopping them from reaching too high a level. You should also notice at the bottom of the screen there are three options for each group: On, Off, and Auto. On operates the lights or lights in a group until you change it. Off switches off the light or lights in a group until you change it. And Auto puts the light or lights in a group under the control of the light cycle mode, which we will come to in a moment. Once you're happy with these settings, click the back button in the top right corner of the screen to return to the main menu. Now it's time to tailor your light cycle. After tapping the relevant buttons, you'll see on and off options for Group A and Group B. Go through and select the times you want your lights to switch on and off. As an example, setting the on time to be 1 PM and then the off time to be 7 AM means that your lighting will run for 18 hours a day. By default, the Parlux Master Controller uses the 24-hour clock, but you can change it to the 12-hour clock if desired in the config menu. This is also where you'll need to enter the current date and time. To find the config settings, return to the main menu and look for the gear button in the bottom right corner of the screen. The last of the major things to set up can be done by pressing on the temperature button on the main menu. Here for Group A and Group B, you indicate an auto-dim temperature, which is the temperature the controller will begin to dim your lights at, and the shutdown temperature, which is the temperature your controller will switch off your lights at. For the controller to make use of these instructions, you just need to hit the active button underneath them. Also, make sure a probe has been correctly plugged into the controller and suitably positioned in your grow room for Group A, and if in play, Group B. Whilst an LED fixture like the Sirius produces less heat than an HPS, the temperature-controlled aspect is still vital for both, especially during the summer. There's just one more option to cover, the sunrise/sunset mode. This will help stop sudden temperature swings from occurring when turning HPS or CDM lights on or off, reducing the amount of moisture that can form on fruits and flowers to prevent rot and mold. You select a period of time between 10 and 60 minutes for your HPS and or CDM lighting to gradually work up to full intensity at the beginning of the day cycle. The same duration is then used to gradually dim down your lighting before turning it off for the night cycle. You'll just need to tap the active button if you want to use this feature on your Group A and or Group B lighting. With regards to LEDs, the amount of heat generated is nowhere near as intense as the other lights mentioned, and our experience with the Sirius indicates that the sunrise/sunset mode only really performs in a limited capacity with LEDs. We've now covered all of the main points relating to the functions of the Parlux Master Controller. It really is a brilliant and easy to use product that will significantly improve your lighting setup. For any questions that you may have, please leave a comment below and we'll try our best to answer. Don't forget to give us a like if you found this video helpful, and subscribe to our channel for more high quality, regularly released content.